Hello there, Movie Squad. This is Joey DeAngelis and Richard Purnell here to talk about the Samurai Jack trailer that Adult Swim just put out today.
Samurai Jack. That was my very bad Aku impression.
Samurai Jack.
You had to upstage me, didn't you?
I did. It's the attempt to upstage you as in my not very good Mako impression. I had to.
Well, at least someone had a good one. That's all, I'll leave it at that. As long as someone had a good impression, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So just another I guess bit of information. We might spoil some stuff from the original Samurai Jack series on this. Just
True.
Relatively minor spoilers, I guess. I mean, because the show is fairly old. I mean, I think this show premiered back in 2001.
Somewhere around there, yeah. I know I was a youngster when it came out. For sure. I was definitely a little kid, so.
Yeah, I think I was about 8 years old at the time, and I think the first episode premiered around my birthday, and that's why I remember seeing it on TV so well.
I mean, I just constantly watched Cartoon Network all the time, and
yeah.
just I think around 2001, I was about 11 years old, and just any cartoon that was on Cartoon Network was just amazing. It was funny, it was entertaining, especially the ones like Tartakovsky. You know, Dexter's Lab. He worked on Powerpuff Girls, and then he had a short stint in the Star Wars universe.
I like those shorts a lot. The mini-sodes or whatever they were called.
Yeah, those were actually really cool. Those were a lot better than the movies.
They were. So I think going back to Samurai Jack though, back in the early 2000s. You know, again, Tartakovsky had done so many great things, as we just mentioned, on Cartoon Network. And then we have Samurai Jack, which is a really weird combination of Chambara, samurai sword movies, Blade Runner, Star Wars, Westerns, just a lot of things.
It's a nice amalgamation of, all of our favorite things poured into one nice little thing. And heavily based off of, I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but there's a book that Frank Miller wrote and drew called Ronin.
I've heard of this, yes.
Yeah. This book is what Samurai Jack is heavily based off of. There isn't it doesn't say based on Ronin, but a lot of inspiration, including just the plot itself of a samurai, and, the giant demon whose name is Agat in the comic and not Who. So it's a little concerning at times, but it's a great book. I highly recommend it. It's one of the better books that Frank Miller did, but this was a book that was heavily inspirational for Tartakovsky in creating Samurai Jack. So just all these different influences that came in to make this really cool little world that we've enjoyed for so long.
So I guess let's talk about I guess for those of you who are not as familiar with Samurai Jack. This basic story goes like this. You have this all-powerful, Lord of Darkness, Aku, who is wreaking havoc all over Japan. And then you have this nameless samurai, because at first he didn't have a name.
No, he didn't.
Which kind of takes... Yeah.
Yeah, and he, wasn't his father, the king?
Yeah, his father was the emperor.
Yeah, his father was the emperor, and he acquired this magic sword that allowed him to defeat the giant demon that is Aku. It's this giant black shadowy figure with green, fiery red eyes. It's a really cool design, actually. Mm-hmm. And he gets killed. If I remember correctly.
I think, if I remember correctly, he got imprisoned. He was enslaved by Aku.
Okay, but
eventually he would die.
Yeah, but he sent Lil Jack is his name later on, but he sent Lil Jack off to kind of hone his skills, and then come back years later once he's perfected his samurai skills to hopefully one day defeat Aku and end his reign of terror. And he almost does. This is a big epic fight in this first episode, which I guess was a movie technically.
Yeah, it was called the premiere movie, which had its own separate DVD release.
I'm just starting to remember this. It's been a long time since I've actually watched the original So it's all coming back now. It's kind of cool. But, like, he almost, like, kills him. He almost takes him out. But then Aku opens this portal in time, this very, like, hypnotizing wheel-looking, trippy little time hole. And then Jack gets thrown into it. And lo and behold, we're in the future. And Aku is ruler supreme.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff. So Jack has to try to find his way back home, while at the same time trying to defeat Aku and all that fun stuff.
So I think one of the most striking things about Samurai Jack is the level of like creative risk they took. Like for like a TV Y7 cartoon, most of the episodes had very little to no dialogue.
It was very like, because it was all about the imagery, really. Kind of like old samurai movies. It was all about just these beautiful, and that's the one thing that I love about Tartakovsky is that he's got this amazing style, and it's very cinematic. It's very engrossing, engaging. It's almost like looking at paintings each episode.
Right.
And that was one of my favorite aspects too. It's like you're sitting there and you're watching it, and like they say a few things every now and then, but ultimately you're just staring at this like beautiful screen. Like your eyes are just wide. It's beautiful. I said beautiful like 5 times, but it's true. It's an accurate description.
Also, one of the other cool things about the show was that I actually rewatched seasons 1 through 3 not too long ago in preparation for this new season. I still got to rewatch season 4. But what I've noticed is that there's some seasons of TV shows that are better than others, but I have to say with Samurai Jack, it's pretty consistent. And
it is, yeah.
And I think what helps is that it's not just a one continuous storyline. There's always the constant thread of him trying to go back to the past, but it's not like a regular TV show where it's like you can notice a forward progression. There are some episodes that might take place at another point in time in the series, and there's episodes that might take place in the future.
Yeah, each episode was kind of its own entity. You could sit and watch an episode of Samurai Jack and just like it gives you the opening credits, which is legendary. You know? I'm sure if there's anybody that could probably do that opening crawl, it's probably you. But lay it out right there in the opening credits, and so you don't really need all that setup, so you can just watch an episode and just kind of be engrossed.
Yeah.
And another cool thing is that while it did have that kind of epic, kind of darker, samurai movie kind of tone to it most of the time, there's definitely some really kind of wacky episodes too. So it's like a nice mixture of things. So like the episodes with the Scotsman, for example.
Yes.
I love the Scotsman.
I think one of my favorite episodes, speaking of the humor, is Aku's Fairy Tales. And Aku is talking to a bunch of children, and he's basically making his own propaganda on how, like, he saved the universe, and every story he makes Jack look like the worst thing imaginable. Like, it makes, like, Jack out to be, like, the big bad wolf in one story.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh man! And then one of my favorite parts, like Aku's just like, once, because he gets so frustrated about the kids not believing him, and he's like, once there was an almighty, all-powerful wizard, and there was a pathetic little samurai, and the wizard destroyed the samurai. And you see like this nuclear bomb explosion go off around Jack. And because it just shows, like, as intimidating as Aku can be, and there's a lot of episodes where he can be intimidating, he's most memorable because he's so funny and outrageous when compared to Jack, who's very quiet, very stoic.
And it makes it so much better. Just when you see them interact too, because Aku is very much like that. But when you were describing that, I was actually starting to remember that episode too. Just again, all this has come back, so it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's amazing because it's like I rewatched a lot of the episodes and I basically remembered like 90% of them after like rewatching. I remember that one.
Oh my god! See now I have to do this, and I think they were on Netflix at one point, but now right? And now they're not there.
I think now Adult Swim is re-airing the old episodes.
Well, see now I don't even want. No, I'm not going to be in this video. Excuse me. I'm going to go watch it.
You see, the show is that good where Richard is justified in leaving this program to go watch them.
I'm coming back now. It's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't want to leave you hanging.
All right.
It's rude of me. I apologize.
So, even though I haven't seen season 4 in a while, season 4 was the last season, by the way, and the last episode ends. Samurai Jack helps out like this mother and her baby, and I think they're featured in this new trailer. And that's one of the first things I wanted to bring up was that it was a noticeable like Easter egg, at least for somebody who remembers the series, where you see these two characters where they're kind of like one-time episode appearing characters, which was a lot of the characters of Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
But then I saw them like, oh wow, yeah, that's right. I remember kind of this plot line in like one of the final episodes. So, man, this was a great trailer because before we had basically just 10-second glances and like teases, pretty much.
Like quick flashes. Like there's one where it was just like the lightning flash of Jack with the long hair and like it was just all white. And then I think there was, I think it's the only one I remember. But then like obviously there was like posters and stuff. And there was that one image that was like kind of all red with like kind of the black Aku on it.
Yeah.
And there's what looked to be like a white outlined armored up Jack, which I'm assuming. And then, but yeah, all these teasers, they're saying Jack's back, and it works. It's pumped me up for sure.
Totally. Just one thing that I really dug about this trailer was that even though like it's in widescreen, which is appreciated because you can do a lot of stuff with widescreen. It's in widescreen, but the style is basically the same.
Yeah, it's exactly, and it's and also one thing I noticed about the trailer as well, when just looking at the beautiful imagery in the trailer, and again being reminded of the old show, I've also noticed that because it's on Adult Swim now, it seems like it's significantly more adult.
Yes.
Because one of the things that the original show could get away with was like having some level of blood and gore, but they could get away with it because he was fighting robots and there was oil shooting out, or he was fighting aliens and there was like some goop or some weird whatever coming out.
It wasn't red blood, so that's how we could get away with it.
Red blood, but there's a moment in the trailer when you see Jack with a dagger in his stomach and just bleeding everywhere, and he's like dragging the blood on the wall, and I'm like, darn, man, Jack's taking some hits.
Yeah, and that's what I like is that this is I like a lot of my favorite stories are about like heroes, not necessarily when they're starting out, but more like in their later years and they've grown tired. And that's like two things in March now, where it's like you got Logan, where Logan's just tired and old, and now you have Jack, who, as he says in the trailer, he hasn't aged. I mean, he's grown more hair and stuff, but he's grown very tired of his existence.
And it's been 50 years.
Yeah.
50 years in the timeline since last we saw Jack, and he looks exactly the same. And it looks like he might be talking to like a spectral version of himself or something at one point.
Yeah.
And so like he's definitely having that, whether it's metaphorical or literal, he's having that obvious struggle with, being kind of not literally a man stuck in time, like quite literally.
Yeah. It's like at this point, you were going to say?
I was going to say it just adds a more interesting layer is all.
Yeah. So, like, one of the other interesting things that they don't mention in the trailer, but I've read in interviews with Tartakovsky and all that, is that Jack doesn't have his magic sword.
That's something I noticed, too. Like, he's using guns, he's, like, shooting up forests and whatnot, but the sword's gone.
I'm sure he'll get the sword back at some point, because it wouldn't be Samurai Jack without the sword. But at the same time,
How are you going to take out Aku?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, now he, like we said with the guns, he's using other technology. In the past, he's had, other people have used technology and other gadgets and gizmos to fend off Aku, but Jack's usually stuck with his magic sword. And there's actually a great episode of Samurai Jack where he fights zombies and Aku takes away the magic sword. And it's one of those instances where Aku is really intimidating, a very frightening force.
I mean, just the idea of him holding the sword alone is frightening. Really, if you really think about it. But like, it seems like he's been around for 50 years, and if he doesn't have the sword, something must have happened that this is not there anymore. So I'm sure we'll find out about that in the episodes. But it seems like he's definitely starting to embrace the technology, because I guess you can make the argument that because he is a man of the past and he's trying to get to the past, he's stuck to what he's used to. He didn't want to try to integrate himself too much into the futuristic world.
Right.
Whereas now, again, 50 years, no sword, he's like, I don't give a crap anymore. I'm just going to fight him however I can.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So he's busting out machine guns and pistols and all sorts of fun stuff.
And it seems like Aku has got some like really cool female assassin minions.
Right, when they put the masks on and that split screen sequence or whatever it was, that was just cool.
Very Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack used altered the screen many times throughout its run just to emphasize cuts and points. Yes up?
Yeah, I was agreeing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else struck out to me in the trailer. Oh, the image of the guy who looks like he's in the Christ position when he's talking Jack. You have forgotten your purpose. I think that it makes me think of Jack's dad, and the reason for that is because in probably in my opinion, the best episode in the series is a two-parter called The Birth of Evil that describes Aku's origin and the backstory of Jack's father. And there's a shot in The Birth of Evil where the father is in that Christ-like position watching his city get destroyed and demolished by Aku.
Wow. See, I wouldn't have even made that. I gotta get back and watch this darn show.
We really ought to just one of these days just pop in Samurai Jack. It's worth it.
It's literally, oh my gosh. Just going back in time, no pun intended, to just remembering this show.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I'm definitely I've seen the trailer probably 5 or 6 times. I've been home all day, so it's like, oh, okay, I'll just watch this.
Let's watch it again.
All the Super Bowl trailers, I don't give a crap about those. Let's watch Samurai Jack 5 or 6 times more. It's all good.
It's just, I really do love the art style. They do manipulate with the screen a bit. The action scenes seem, entertaining. We were talking about how we do like the more solemn, more silent aspects of Samurai Jack, and they don't show those as much. But again, it's a trailer, so we're gonna expect the action stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I'm being honest, it's nice to see Tartakovsky coming back to just more traditional animation. I mean, the last time he did it was Symbiotic Titan, which I really loved. I thought it was a great show, but I guess it didn't resonate with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And he went and did the Hotel Transylvania movies, which again, I thought they were entertaining. They're good for what they are, but it's just I miss that kind of classic, old school Tartakovsky. This is definitely that. So I'm super excited for that return as well.
And to hop off of that, he was supposed to do a Popeye movie, and they released a clip of it.
Yeah, he was. I remember seeing an image of it online too. I didn't see the clip. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But either way, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, that would have been pretty cool to see him tackle Popeye.
Yeah, I saw it, and it was it's actually pretty funny because I remember getting into Popeye and Samurai Jack around the same time because Cartoon Network would air the old Popeye cartoons, and I have all the old Popeye cartoons as I do the Samurai Jack cartoons, so it's kind of amusing to think Gennady Tartakovsky working on Popeye.
Right. I mean, you have pretty much the old of everything. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's one of the many things I am jealous of about you, and one day I will try to steal them from you. So.
No. Trying to think.
You want to tell me what's happening now?
Now, Richard, I know you read the comics for Samurai Jack.
Well,
I want to get
That's the cool thing about kind of the fact that Samurai Jack's become this kind of big cult thing because it ended kind of too soon, especially in comparison to a lot of other Tartakovsky creations. Like Dexter's Laboratory lasted for a long time. That's part of everybody's childhood. And then Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls is back, and again, he didn't create that, but he worked on that heavily. But they're back now, and they're kind of their own thing. But Samurai Jack didn't seem to last as long as some of those other shows, and so it's kind of gained this kind of heavy fan base, people like us who maybe watched it when we were younger, or maybe are just discovering it through whenever it was on Netflix. And so what's cool is because of that, these comic book companies are buying up the license and are deciding to adapt all these amazing characters into comics. So IDW did adaptations of various different old school Cartoon Network cartoon comic books. There was Powerpuff Girls, there was Dexter's Laboratory for a while, and then of course Samurai Jack, which was probably the most exciting thing to hear, was that Samurai Jack was getting his own comic, and that Tartakovsky was going to be doing covers for it, which is, while I would have liked some interior art, I'll take covers every day.
Right.
They're beautiful. And then they even did this really whacked out crossover book, which I think I sent you the issues to that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, it's super secret action something or other, but it was like a team up with Dexter, Powerpuff Girls, Ed and Eddie for some reason, and they would constantly acknowledge that Ed and Eddie had no reason to be there. And then Samurai Jack, and then I think Ben 10, who was one of the newer ones, and they had to fight all their villains, like Mojo Jojo, Aku, one of the Ben 10 villains, and then Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory were all in this comic. So if you love full Cartoon Network, your mind would have been blown. but the Samurai Jack comic was actually pretty sweet, and they actually released it, all 20 issues of the book, in a paperback bound edition. Unfortunately it's $50, so it's kind of expensive, but it's tons of cool original stories. One of them, I believe, is called The Threads of Time, which is a story where Jack's trying to find these threads that, when they come to make this kind of shroud, I guess, that could possibly send him back in time. And then, of course, some classic Samurai Jack characters show up. There's a story arc with the Scotsman where he and Jack get turned into women because of leopard. So that's a lot of fun. And then the last issue is actually kind of beautiful. Honestly, again, I say that word a lot, but it's accurate. I'm sorry. So, but I would definitely recommend the comic. It's a lot, and unfortunately, again, short-lived. But maybe now that there's a new season coming out, we might get a little bit more Jack stuff.
So is the new comic, or were the comics, are the comics canon now, or are they?
That's something I don't know. If they are, that would be pretty interesting, because if they are, and this is a slight spoiler of the comic, in the comic there's a point that Jack's sword breaks, which is kind of like, it's almost as monumental as, say, when Captain America's shield broke, or if Wolverine's claws broke. It's one of those situations that's like, what?
That can happen?
His sword could break into pieces? And it did. It did. It broke into pieces, and so Jack had to kind of struggle to fight Aku. And eventually the sword came back together. But the last issue does kind of hark on the possibility that Jack's been around for a long time, and this legend of Samurai Jack that people talk about, which is something that was in the show, because Jack was a hopeful, legendary figure for some of the citizens and the kids and whatnot, from what I remember. And so I could see it working in continuity with the show. I don't know if it is officially, but I would still say check it out anyways.
That sounds good to me.
And I say this to you too as well, sir. So,
yeah, I got to get on that.
There's a lot I need you to read, but that one especially. That one 100%.
Yeah, I really need to read the Samurai Jack books.
And I have it right next to me, so you can.
That's such a cool cover, and that's the image of Aku that they use on the. You guys can't see this, but he is holding up the image of Aku from the first teaser for the new season.
Yeah, the only difference is the bottom, where Jack is not in the kind of suit of armor in silhouette or anything like that. It's a full on picture of Jack with the sword, looking epic and whatnot. And it's drawn by Tartakovsky. Again, he did a lot of covers for the book, so that's actually pretty sweet.
Totally. It was pretty great to get this trailer, and it releases like a basic synopsis of what we can expect in the season somewhat, but without really spoiling too much, I guess.
It does what a good trailer should do, which is give you the tone and style that you're going for, with a light hint of story. And I mean, honestly, if this is all we get until March, I still would be fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool for me. My only other thing I would mention is that the voice actor for Aku, Mako, passed away a few years ago.
I read about that, actually, yeah.
So Tartakovsky said they did get another actor who's a pretty close impersonation. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to hear Aku again with a different actor, because Mako, really made the character of Aku his own.
Oh yeah, the voice itself is just—that's the first thing you heard every episode.
Yeah, and it was probably his most memorable element of the show, probably, and he could definitely pull off the balance between intimidating and just comical.
Just straight silly, and had a good time with it.
I just remember, like, one time somebody was like, "Please, Aku, spare me!" And his expression in his face, and he goes, "No."
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Also, we got Phil Lamar returning as Jack. We heard his voice in the trailer, which is really nice.
That's amazing, honestly. And he hasn't changed a beat one bit. Like it's still perfect. He's probably done it like a bunch of times at conventions, so just perfected to a T, and it sounds perfect. So I'm happy.
It's really funny because Adult Swim released like a behind the scenes clip of Samurai Jack a few months ago, and they had Phil Lamar talking. He's like, "It's the easiest voice acting gig in the world. He just reacts to things, and most of the time he's silent."
And that just makes it even more perfect. It's like, it's not really me half the time. I don't really do much. I don't even go to work, probably.
And it's a lot of grunts.
Just call up Tartakovsky, like, I have to come in today? Nah, you can stay at home. We'll still pay you.
We'll use a clip from this episode.
We got like about 50 grunts from you yesterday. We'll use one of them. You'll be fine. Oh my god, that's a good point too. Like, it's kind of makes me think of like when Michael Keaton was Batman. He barely said anything. I'm like, it's probably an easy gig too for that. You just gotta stand there. Mm-hmm. The stuntman does all the work in the suit. You just stand there. You don't say anything. You get to go.
I'm Batman.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
But I think this was a cool trailer. One last thing I wanted to say before we close this discussion out. I'm planning on doing a review of each episode of this new season of Samurai Jack. It'll only have 10 episodes, starting, it's on March 11th. You'll get the episode March 12th because, it'll take me a while to record it and put it on the internet. But basically, right after the episode's over, I'll discuss each and every episode of this season 5 of Samurai Jack. I might have special guest appearances by other people. We'll see what happens.
Maybe it'll be me, maybe it won't. I'm not that special. We'll see.
It'll be, I'll definitely be on it every episode because I'm doing this. But I definitely want to talk about each of these episodes because it's a very important show to both of us here.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, talking about, like, my favorite, like, cartoons, I have Gravity Falls, Gargoyles, and Samurai Jack are, like, my 3.
Oh, for sure. Like, Samurai Jack for me was just like, it's a massive part of my childhood. Like, I remember when it first came out, like, it was that and Batman Beyond, and it was just like these two awesome future shows. And I even remember this contest I entered where, like, it was either the grand prize was you could get to go to Japan, and then the second prize was to get, like, the entire set of Samurai Jack toys, and I wanted to get the second prize because I didn't really want to travel, and I won it. And I had all the toys, and, like, I just was an absolute Samurai Jack super fan. I wish I still had those toys, honestly, and hopefully they'll make more.
I'm hoping that they maybe make some Funko Pops, like a giant, like, 6-inch Aku.
That would be really cool. Hopefully it's not a bobblehead, though.
I don't think he'll be. The thing is, the bobble ones are only Marvel and Star Wars because there's already like a vinyl thing with those characters, so they have to be bobbleheads in order to. I don't know. I forget what the exact thing is.
Yeah, but I mean, between the two of us, I don't really know a whole lot. I have like one or two pop figures. You have like a billion.
I have close to 100
billion. Close to 100 billion, but that would be also cool if they did, which would make total sense too. I'm surprised they haven't already done it. Samurai Jack pop vinyl figures, but it's a big part of my childhood, as is yours, and I have good hopes, good high hopes for this new season, and the trailers impressed me. So there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to Richard and I Babylon about Samurai Jack. Be sure to check out the rest of Movie Squad. We should be having a Super Bowl trailer discussion video up at some point, probably tonight or tomorrow. And stay tuned for my Samurai Jack video series where I'll be reviewing each of the new episodes in March.
And you guys have yourselves a wonderful day. And if you don't have a wonderful day, save it for tomorrow. You'll have a wonderful day.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.